All right, so any questions from last week? No questions from last week? Okay, so we'll push on then. Okay, so last week we talked about, we did an overview, right? So, so we'll kind of continue with this. We left off at personal prayer, right? Yeah, so so before we go into the deeper classes, I want to go back and go over, which I don't see if I have it here. Yeah, but I want to go over that. But thought I had put that somewhere in here. Because we hear a lot about shakti, but a lot of people don't really understand how shakti works or where it comes from. So, find my markers. So let's go into shakti. Everybody know what shakti is? Nobody? Okay, so, huh? Well, it's not the active state of Shiva. It comes from Shiva, And a lot of people say that it is the active state of Shiva, but you got to understand that Shiva is the absolute, is everything. So, Shiva is God, is the endless potential of God as well. So, and Shiva never ever move its position. It's always that. And when you get into the deeper Vedic or Tantra Satra, or Mantra Satra is made clear that that's what it is. In other words, it's the canvas or the background of everything. So that's why it never changes its position. But from Shiva comes Shakti. And then Shakti continually modify itself. Now what we're told is that Shiva releases a sound vibration, which is described in ancient texts as Vak. And it's also described in almost every religion that speaks on this subject. It says that God spoke the word, and the word was God, and creation came about. So, but the Hindus, they went a little further and said that the initial sound vibration they call Vak is the thing that spurred movement. In other words, it moved a fraction of this endless potential of Shiva, and manifestation came about. So, and then from that point, you had the constant modification of this absolute power called Shiva, right? Because it's pulling from an absolute source, which is Shiva. Okay? What's wrong? Huh? Shiva did not modify. I didn't say Shiva modified. I say Shakti modified. You had a constant. Yeah, Shiva. Remember, I just said Shiva never changed its position. It's the background. But Shakti is the modification. You have a constant modification of Shakti. Once Shakti moves into a manifested state. So what you have is Shiva. I don't know, all my pens are missing. All my markers, yeah. That's strange. I don't remember taking it out. But what you have is no, I just got 3. I don't know if they work. What you have is the modifications of Shakti. It moves from a very cosmic level, from a macro to a micro level, and that's how manifestation or creation is brought about and maintained. So you have this, because everything in manifestation is Shakti. And everything in manifestation has a background of Shiva. So you have Shiva and Shakti. And the modification of Shakti is done by Nata, which is a subtle sound vibration. Now, what we're told is that Vak, they describe the initial sound vibration as Vak. The constant vibration is known as Nata, which is a subtle sound vibration that spurs creation and manifestation and cycles of manifestation. So everything in existence have a sonic subtle vibration. And this is, this is what kind of, although all religions talk about it, no one goes into it the way the Hindus or the mystic yogis do, because they assign a sound to everything. And this sound is part of the universal consciousness of shakti, or life. There's only one life, and that one life is shakti, with Shiva being the background. So, but the difference is that the different sound vibrations. So, let's look at it. Try to put it in some type of sequence. You have Shiva and Shakti being one. Then you have Vak, the initial sound vibration, the initial release of the sound vibration. Then you have the Shakti power, which is an absolute power, which is an absolute power extending from the endless potential of Shiva. Then you have Nata Shakti, which is a constant vibration that moves through the universe. Now, another question say, well, how does it move through the universe, right? And scientists have actually, proved this, or at least on a physical level. But of course, the yogis and the mystics been saying this for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. Because what do they tell us? They tell us that the laws of creation, which is like one of the highest levels of intelligence in manifestation, released a sound as well when they came about. And when they released the sound, then you had, of course, the framework of the laws of karma come into being. You had intelligence that took the position of the lords of karma, right? Who made it their whole life to make sure that everything works within the law, everything in manifestation. Then you had the galaxies came about. And the galaxies is a living being. You have one gigantic galaxy like the Milky Way. It's actually a body, a living intelligence. And it released a sound. And when it released a sound, it brought forth I don't know how many, we don't know, but probably hundreds of trillions of suns, right? Probably it had the first central sun, and then from there, it produced hundreds of millions or trillions of suns. And these suns are like solar lords, solar gods, right? And they released a sound. And when they released a sound, you had the planets, right? That came from them, all the different planetary bodies, and they released a sound. Now, all these sounds are Nata Shakti. They're Nata Shakti sounds, because what does this sound vibration does? It molds and shape energy. Okay? So, and of course, scientists on a smaller level, they notice that everything have a particular frequency about itself. And they can locate things by frequency. They can also GPS work by frequency, right? Everything has its position. So of course the mystic yogi said this many, many times. Let's go back to this now. We have the Nata Shakti, and then we have the Shakti principles. The Shakti principles the Shakti principles are like the comic signatures of the Shakti power. You have a nanny type principle, right? Which is a principle of wisdom and knowledge of everything. And then you have a mind type shakti principle, right? And then you have a you have a you have a prana or yeah, prana type principle, which is the absolute power, right? But first, you have the intelligent movement of that, which is nana. Which is the nana yoga portion. Then you have the universal mind, which is chitta, which is chitta. Then all the prana is molded by the two. And then you have the highest principle of prana, which is love, which is a love energy, right? And the love energy does what? Now you all know that, right? It preserves life. It allows life to go into the cycles of preservation. So these are like the four major principles of Shakti, right? And then comes into play the mahabhutas. Yeah. We'll get to that later. But all of this is will. All of this is the will. Remember, this is the background of the absolute. The will is Shiva at the Shiva state, right? And then what's happening, the Vak is a manifestation of the will. And everything else is nothing but a manifestation of the will. You know, I'm trying to focus just on the Shakti, so we'll understand how this modifies. And what I haven't introduced here is what I did in the beginning. The soul principle is what I was talking about in the beginning. The laws of creation, the laws of karma, the galaxies, the sun, all of that is the soul principle. Because in order for them to exist, they had to have a soul. And the soul is what? An aspect of spirit, right? And the spirit is what? A divine spark of God. Okay? So we're not going into that because it's the soul principle, it's the spirit and soul principle that actually uses this Shakti power in order to move through its cycles of reincarnation, okay, or incarnation. So, but we're concentrating on the Shakti. So the mahabhutas is actually the cosmic it's the cosmic elements of the universe. Okay, so you have now, this is everywhere in all the mystic, metaphysical stuff, but most people just get it wrong. They just don't understand it. You have akasa, you have vayu, TJs or Agni. Some people will call it, I should put that here. It can be either or. These are the Sanskrit terminologies for it. And then you have apas, and then you have pravitis, or some people use that. So, but what is this? Akasa is etheric. It's etheric sound, space, and it operates as a carrying agent for all the other mahabhutas. Okay, akasa is related more to a mind type energy. Okay, then you have Yeah, because it's etheric sound and it's a carrying agent. See? In other words, the sun releases the word, the AUM. Every 32 minutes, the mighty sun releases this sound vibration, right? Which we recognize as the AUM, at least one aspect of it. And of course, there's always a positive and negative aspect to a sound. But we recognize one of the aspects of being the AUM, right? Then with the release of that sound comes tremendous subtle energy that comes to the earth, right? The carrying agent for that sound is the etheric sound, sound, which is akasa. It goes out, it hits the earth. Akasa blankets the earth. It creates a screen around the earth, and then the rest of the energy passes through to the earth in a balanced fashion. Okay? Now, of course, the ancient people said, oh, that's why the sky is blue, because of akasa. Because akasa have a blue type tint to it, or color to it, when it manifests itself. So it is a carrying agent. It's a sound vibration. Remember what the sound does? Sound does what? It molds and shapes energy. Okay? So that's what akasa do. Then you have vayu, which is an etheric air type energy, right? We recognize vayu as prana, right? Because most people associate prana with what? With breathing, right? But it's not breath. Then you have Agni and Tejas, which is heat, right? Is fire. It's heat and fire, right? So that's the type of energy that allows things to expand and to transfer energy or power among each other. Okay, the expansion cause things to also exchange energy. Right. Then you have apas. Apas is an etheric liquid type state of energy. It operates almost in this formless manner, the way water do. Water does what? It takes on the shape of whatever's in. And usually this energy, this type of apas energy moves and takes up space everywhere. It invades everything. And then you have parithis, which is a solid type substance. It's a solid type energy. Is solid particles of energy that helps to solidify all the above, right? Because what happens on the most basic levels of manifestation on any realm of existence, this type of energy helps to solidify the energy into that manifested frequency. Okay? So those are the 5 mahabhutas. And there are cosmic elements of it. So, and that's a modification, once again, of shakti. Okay, as shakti expands itself and moves through the many millions or trillions of solar logis, or mighty suns, in each solar system or galaxy. Then you have another aspect of shakti, which we call the Tavic rays. The Tavic rays is it's a better way of understanding this. It is the modes of motion that the energy take and travel, all right, and tap into the different frequencies. In other words, when this ray of energy is coming out from one of the from either the galaxy or a sun, a central sun or a sun, it sends out a frequency. On that frequency, there's a mode of motion that this thing takes. In other words, it taps into a particular frequency. Let's explain how we know, or the ancient ones told us how it worked here on Earth. On Earth, you have 360 Tavic rays that hit the Earth from the sun, right? And they're broken up into different groups. I think I listed the groups here. Here, we come down to 63. At the Muladhara chakra, you have 56 Tavic rays, right? Out of the 360, 56 actually come through that's the root chakra, the base chakra at the base of the spine. At the sex center, you have 62, right? Tavic rays. Then at the solar plexus, the Manipura, you have 52. And at the heart chakra, you have 54. At the throat chakra, you have 72. And at the Christ or Ajna or third eye, what a lot of people like call it, you have 64. Now, of course, at the crown chakra, there's endless Tavic rays that can be tapped into, because at that point you're a cosmic being if you operate from that point. So you're not bound by any earthly residence. So if you add this up, it's 360, and each one of these create a group. Right? This is a group of its own, and this becomes a group, and this becomes a group. Now, these Tavic rays make up the realms of existence of that particular chakra. And that's the frequency, that's the mode of operations. So we can say that we know that this root chakra, the basic root chakra, has 56 Tavic rays. Also, the sex center has 62. That's a total of what? 118 Tavic rays. We know that we live on the physical, this physical realm, live within the root and sex chakra. You know, we're grounded here. In other words, our mind operates more here than any other chakra, right? So we know that this realm and the mental realms that make up this realm, because this realm is made up by the mental realm, right? And you can see that, because how do we have our daily convenience? It's through what? It's through the technology that we invented from our mind, right? We gathered all the raw material around us, and we built these chairs, we built this table, we built this facility here, the cars we came here in, the phones that we can't put down, the computers that we sleep with. I mean, that's our mental world, right? So we know that 118 Tavic rays make up this realm and the astral realms that's connected to the Muladhara chakra and the sex chakra, and possibly the solar plexus chakra, which are the lower realms. Those three are the lower realms, right? They're not the lowest realm, but they are part of the lower realms, or the lower higher realms, you can call it, because you have realms of existence that goes below the base of the spine, which is mostly what some people call the lower hells, or or the animal realms of existence, right? So we know that in order for us to move beyond this, we're told that we have to master those 118 Tavic frequencies or realms of existence, because there's at least 118 realms of existence, in that between those two realms. All right. So that's what I mean by modes of operation. Everybody clear on that? Does it make sense? So that's what a Tavic ray is. Yeah.
How do the Tavic rays correspond to the pranas?
They correspond to the pranas according to the operation, which we're going to get to. I think that comes next. Yeah, that comes next. So you have a cosmic Tavic ray, you have a galactic Tavic rays, you have a central sun Tavic rays, you have a solar logi Tavic ray, and these are the rays where it comes through on different levels. You have a rucha, which comes with these three. This is within your body. Okay. And this first one makes up the base of the spine and the sex center. The next one makes up the solar plexus and the heart center, which is the Vishnu, which is Tavic rays that you receive directly from the sun. The first two Tavic rays you receive from the sun to the logos of this earth and then back to you. All right? The Brahma Tavic rays you receive, it goes through the moon and then it comes to you, to your throat and Christ center or third eye that way. So they're split up into three major groups: Earth, Sun, and Moon. Okay? So those are, these are this is not all the groups of the Tavic rays. I'm just telling you in a way so that you can understand. All right? There are supposed to be 36 major groups of Tavic rays. No. We know that on a major level there's 36 Tavic rays. When it comes to this particular Earth, we know that there's 360. And probably because of the circumference of the Earth, 360 degrees. Maybe that's how they did it, or the number of days within the year. So. It can modify per planet, yeah. So now let's go to the pranas, right? You have apana pranas, which moves from because I don't want to confuse you. You have the apana pranas, which moves from the base of the spine up to the heart chakra, right? And then falls back down. Okay? That's the nature of that particular prana. That prana is mostly centrally located within the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra. And of course, it takes on the type of energy that the Tavic rays of that particular realm of existence, which is the Muladhara chakra, which is part of the Rucha group that we just talked about. Okay? Then you have the Vyana prana, which is at the sex chakra, right? And it's an energy which is related to the Tavic rays and the what? The mahabhutas, which is apas, right? It has a liquid quality to it. So what does this prana do, the Vyana prana? The Vyana prana moves from the sex center and invades the entire body, because it has a water type quality to it, right? So what does this water do? If you take water, it takes on the shape of what? Of the container. So that's what that particular energy do.
And
And that's what.
that's the reason why the sex is a seed of our consciousness.
That's why it's the seat of our consciousness. That's right.
If we raise Kundalini to higher centers, it modifies to that.
It modifies to where it's going, because at that point you take over that energy. All right, so it modifies. That's why the bottom of that's why anything below that is dead, or in a conscious state of death. Yeah. Yeah, that particular energy. So then we move to the samana energy. The samana energy is located within the manipura, which is the solar plexus center. Right? I should have wrote the English names. I get carried on when I start writing, so I should have put all the English terminology there. But anyway, it moves to the solar plexus energy is an energy of samana, which calls a conjunction of all the energies. All the energies travel through the solar plexus center. And the energies, and there's an exchange of energy. There's an exchange of this energy. This energy is at the Tavic level where you receive energies directly from the sun. Okay? Of course, you have the earth and the moon energies helping you to balance these energies. The moon energies is a mental energy. Is energies that help create the mental planes of existence. And then the solar energy is the energy that helps you sustain the body. If you notice the solar plexus center and the heart center, those energies help to sustain the body. And that's the samana and the prana energy, right? Then you have the.
Samana's located where? In the limbs?
Huh?
Samana's in the limbs?
No, samana is in the solar plexus region, because what it does, you have the udana energy that travels in the head, in the arms, and the legs. So it has to pass through what? It has to pass through the solar plexus center. You have the prana energy that's in the heart chakra. It goes up and then it comes down, and then it comes back up. So it passes through what? The samana, right? Then you have the sex energy, which is the Vyana energy, which pervades the whole body, right? So it passes through the solar plexus center. Then you have the apana energy, which moves up to the heart chakra and back down, so it passes through the solar plexus, the samana. So the samana energy, when the energies locate there, what it does, it creates an exchange of energies among all the energies. So although you may have a scream of samana, a scream of Vyana energy, it has the qualities of all the other pranas within it, because there was an exchange as it passed through the solar plexus area. And the same thing with the udana, the prana, and the apana. The conjunction of energies happen at the solar plexus. So they take on the qualities of all the other energies.
If I read correctly, it's the falling of the apana that keeps us in a lower state, or attached to the lower.
Well, as long as you're in the realm of what they call the sarasama, right? Remember sarasama? What is sarasama? You remember what it is?
The cycle.
The cycle, right? So what happens here is if you had let's say this is, right? Right? You had the base, right? You had the sex. And then you have the solar plexus. And you have the heart chakra. And then you have the throat. It's not a good line, but it's there. Right? So what happens is apana goes up, right? Up to the heart. And when apana comes up, right, it immediately falls back down, right? And then you have the prana, right? It falls down, right, and touches the apana, and then it jumps back up, and then apana comes back up, and it goes, and you have this exchange. The yogi and pranayama is taught to
Arrest the apana.
to arrest not only the apana, but the prana too, to have it come together. Because it's always one goes down, goes back up, and this one comes back up and go back down, and that's why we're in the state of mind that we're in. Okay? But the pranayama teaches you to regulate that energy and allow that energy to blend. And then you become an adept. And then you can move consciousness wherever you want it to move. Okay?
Thereby stopping those lower modifications?
Stopping the modifications of the aura. Okay? Because right now, what happens with our mind, and our auric state of mind, because our mind is within our aura, what happens to it? We always have these grasshopping thoughts. We can't think. We can't center the mind. And we have to fight with ourselves to center the mind, right? But once you have learned to center the mind and learn to regulate the energy within the body, then the modifications, the valence level of the aura stops. The modifications of the aura stops. And now you can think, you can concentrate and contemplate. You can move thought the way you want it to go. Okay? So that's what you was thinking about. All right? Mm-hmm. So everybody understand the pranas then?
I have a question online.
Yeah.
What time of day does each type of prana activate or is dominant? Is prana active or dominant?
There's every 32 minutes, there's a release of a particular prana from the sun, right? And that prana lasts for about 3 hours in circulations. In other words, it dominates the flow of states of prana throughout the world for that 3-hour period, about a 3-hour period. And then of course, every 32 minutes, a different prana is being released. So in each one of those pranas lasts for 3 hours, about 3 hours. So they kind of overlap, okay? And they fade out, and the next one come in, the next one come in. But you have to sensitize your body to know which prana is active, all right? And in practicing pranayama, you have to get to the level where you can practice pranayama for 33 minutes times 5. Okay? So that's what? 3 hours and about a half or something like that. You have to be able to practice pranayama for that long in a day in order to capture all the pranas, and manipulate them through your body. So you have to build yourself up. Now, another way people have tried to do it, they would practice for at least 33 minutes per day, the same time, every day, and by the end of the week, they have at least tapped into all 5 major pranas. when it was dominant. That's another way of doing it. But the yogi's goal is to be able to practice pranayama in its different phases for 3.5 hours. Okay? And later on we'll go into what those phases are. So let's push on. The next modification of the pranas is a Kundalini modification. And of course, this modification of prana, it coincides with the 7 chakras, the 7 major chakras, and also the Tavic rays, and also the sonic vibrations in the body, and also the pranas and mahabhutas. All right. I'm not going to really go into this right now, but I just want you to see that these are the different levels of Kundalini.
So,
all right.
So once the shakti is pushed down,
and it comes back up, this is what, when the Kundalini comes back up, when it sends the sound vibration, these are
each
the
center comes back as this particular flow.
Yeah, it vibrates at these different types of Kundalini. All right. I think we went into this when I went through the Serpent Power book with you guys.
And depending on which nadis intersect which center, that's the prana that or modification of Kundalini that's flowing through that.
Depending on what now?
Which nadis intersect that center, that's the Kundalini or type of Kundalini flow.
Yeah,
that goes
that's the
through it.
Kundalini that's available.
Okay.
Remember, Kundalini is always active in the body,
Right.
but is less active than active. You understand? So let's say if you have, because you can't blink an eye, move a finger without the power of Kundalini, right? You need Kundalini in order to think, in order to walk, in order to run, in order to speak. All of this is connected to Kundalini. Kundalini is the vehicle of consciousness, right? So now, when you begin to raise Kundalini, let's say you have 3% Kundalini operating throughout the body. So now, if you raise 10% of Kundalini in order to tap into a psychic realm of existence, right? Then you actually have 13% of Kundalini operating within the body. So there's always a different percentage. You know, some people have 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, but it's always a small percentage operating within the body. Now, to tap into it is something different, okay? So, and it works on different levels, all right?
Shouldn't there be, or are there 108 different flows, or it's just, these are the major flows that it's modified?
This is what's related to the 7 major chakras, and that's how they teach you.
Okay.
Because...
So you want to talk about the other one?
Yeah, the 108, chakras, you don't even know if there's if there's a name for all 108, Mm-hmm. We may know or have an idea of where they're located, but the given names to them really haven't been given out. Some people claim they have, but I go with the traditional teachings. They only reveal to you in initiation. Okay, now, this is the sound is also, the 4 states of sound is also related to Kundalini, okay? So, you have the 4 states, and I've went over this many, many times. I did whole 2 or 3 lectures on this. They're free, they're online. So I'm not going to go too much into this, but I just want to show you that the modification of prana. When the soul takes the Kundalini and push and push the Kundalini down Shushumna. Will push the Shakti power down to Shushumna and create Kundalini, bring Kundalini into existence by molding and shaping the Kundalini. It goes into this Kundalini, the Shakti power goes into a Kundalini state, and the Kundalini state actually means that it moves from the whole to the not whole, and it reveals the Shiva. Because what happened, the Kundalini takes on a Shiva state inside the body, where it becomes the background play for consciousness of the body. In other words, because now, remember, before this, there was no consciousness per se, in a sense. And you got to understand that. The soul does not need consciousness. The soul is above consciousness. Okay? The soul is a body, is a manifested body for the unmanifested spirit. Okay? Spirit is not manifested. Spirit cannot be manifested. It's ridiculous to think the spirit is manifested. Spirit is a divine spark of God, right? So therefore, it always existed. There was no need to bring spirit into being, because like God, the absolute was always there. Shiva was always there. So we talk about spirit in order for us to have some type of point of origin of soul, in other words, because spirit is a part of the what? The one life. There's only one life in the universe, and that life is God. But we talk about spirit in order to recognize the soul, which the soul was manifested. So therefore, the soul has a beginning, and the soul shall have an end when it is absorbed back into spirit. Okay? So soul, in its perfect state of operation, does not have consciousness. It had to create consciousness. And it created consciousness by modifying the Shakti power. All right? So Shakti power was modified and placed into what's called the Brahmanati, which is layered inside Shushumna. And what is that? What am I talking about? This is what I'm talking about. And we just using the body as a reference, okay? So so what we have, you have something called, in your spine, you have this thing called Shushumna. Now, Shushumna is layered. Well, there's like 3 or 4 chambers inside of it until you get to this little tiny chamber that goes. It's like 3 different layers around it. And in the middle is the Brahmanati. And the Brahmanati is a sacred state of being. It's where the power of Shakti can vibrate or exist in its perfect whole state, right? Tremendous power, endless power. It's an endless source of power. And this power, the soul pushed this power through the Brahmanati within Shushumna and brought it down to the base of the spine. And there, because of the karmic pressures that exist within the base chakra, the Shakti power automatically went into what's called, and you probably heard of it, a 3.5 knot. Everybody heard of the 3.5 knot? The 3.5 knot is actually a 3.5 energy configuration called Kundalini. That's what it's called. It's called Kundalini. And there, the power goes dormant. And the reason why we say it goes dormant is because it goes into this Shiva state. Over 90% of the power goes dormant. It goes into the Shiva state, and it becomes the background for consciousness. Therefore, it is the vehicle of consciousness. And then a sound vibration is released from the 3.5 knot, and it creates a vehicle for consciousness to express itself. And these are the 4 states that it created. The para state, the Pasayana state, the Mahayana state, and the Vihara state. Those are the states of consciousness. The first state is called a para state, is a
Soundless sound.
it's a soundless, it's a soundless state of sound. It's the first is a soundless state. The next one is first movement. It creates movement. The next state is a state that brings about form, and it's in the heart center. And then the last state, the 4th state, or the 4th aspect of consciousness, is in the throat center, where it brings about gross expression. All right, and that's where that's the line, or the line of force in which the mental world is merges with the physical world, and allow us to communicate with each other. You know, it allows our auric bodies to connect and create a semi-state of consciousness where we can exchange ideals and information among ourselves, experience. We can experience the same thing together as we are now. Our auras are connected, you know. So these are the vibrators, the 4 aspects of consciousness or sound that allows us to exist on the physical or even astral planes of existence. Okay?
At each incarnation, does Kundalini release the gross sound or gross expression sound?
What do you mean by that?
It's like each time we're reborn, like you said, it releases the sound and it builds the bodies. Like,
well, it goes through that with the physical body, but it still does that with the astral body. You understand? Mm-hmm. This configuration is always in existence. Because remember, the biggest mistake that most religions get wrong is that the so-called heaven is physical. The hells are physical, or the astral realms are physical. The etheric realms are physical. But they're physical to their perspective of frequency. So, you know, so when you die here and go to heaven or hell, you're going to still be able to walk up to a desk and do this and hear a sound. See, because it's physical. It's physical for that plane of existence, that realm of existence. You'll be able to reach down and touch the dirt. You'll have trees, you'll have highways, you'll have houses. It's all there. But it's physical for that particular plane. So you still have the same energy configuration happening. Now, the biggest difference is that the mental world, the mental thoughts, integrates with the physical matter better there, because it's a mental plane, but it's physical. In other words, mental thoughts, you can work with them better there because you don't have the limitation, you don't have the gross limitation that you have here. Although you don't need the gross limitation here if you just educate yourself. You understand? Because if you educate yourself, you can mold and shape anything around you. You know, a raw, basic aspect of that, my wife liked watching the stuff Alone in the Wilderness. the people who have the knowledge and wisdom, they survive in the wilderness because they can take any element and twist it up and make something. You know, so because why? Because of the mental place they're at. You know, so that's a gross aspect, but that's the way it is on the physical plane, on the astral planes. If you're, like I always say, if you're an idiot here, you're gonna be an idiot there. You know, so don't think that all of a sudden you're gonna go on the other side, gonna sprout wings, and you're gonna be able to go and fly and go. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna be a stupid idiot right there on that side. You're gonna have to go educate yourself in order to get around and be able to move and do what you want to do. Okay, so it's not gonna happen. So is physical just like this plane of existence. So it's always there. Now, when you get to this plane of existence, you make the adjustments, and adjustments are really made in the astral body. It takes, I don't know, 9.5 weeks to happen. It's 40. It's 40 some weeks to happen here, within the womb of the woman. And in order for you to make the adjustments, and then another 2 or 3 years for all the connections to work. But it's happening,
But it's one of those. It's 4 states of sound that's building the body.
Yeah.
The womb, and then using the material from the parents and wherever.
Yeah. In order to happen, in order to bring about. That's why they say when a woman goes into pregnancy, she raises Kundalini, at least to the solar plexus center. In an unconscious state, she does. But that's why all her sensory perception, becomes a screen. And if she was, and that's where the whole craze of the wrong path of Tantra Yoga went down the way, I think, as part of it. But if she was guided properly, she can, she can raise Kundalini fully and become an adept, during that time. Because the Kundalini is raising naturally within her in order to allow that birth of that child.
Wouldn't that be dangerous? Because everything that below that center is dead. So
No, it won't. The mantra sounds of Kundalini and the major chakras. Now, at each Kundalini, each level of the chakra, there's a major mantra or Sanskrit word, right? You have the letters and then you have the words. Now, you have the letters, and all of these are what they call BJs, or seed mantras. And each level, these are the major mantras here. But, and that act as a, let's say, I don't want to get too symbolic. But anyway, the energy formation at that particular level takes on this expression. Let's say it like that. It takes on this expression. And then you have the nadis, and you have 3 major types of nadis, which the Pingala nadis, which is a positive flow of energy, and you have the Ida nadis, which is a negative flow of energy, and then you have the Sushumna nadi, which is positive and negative movement in one direction, okay, which is a balance or neutral state of energy. So, and of course, the Pingala energy is a vital energy, and the Ida energy is a mental energy. When you cross-section the vital and mind energy or mental energy, consciousness is brought about. A state of consciousness is brought about. So that's how you have That's how you form consciousness on each level of the chakras. In fact, all the major chakras have 21 sections of cross sections of energy within that major chakra. That's how you have a major chakra, where the Ida and the Pingala intersects 21 times, and now you have a state of consciousness, a major state of consciousness, or a major vortex center of energy. You guys want to stop here and you want to stop here for this week and go and take this up next week?
Yeah.
And I think I have charts. Don't we have charts on this, on a lot of this?
Yes, yeah, we do.
We have charts from back
Diagrams,
in the day
a lot of stuff like that, yeah.
that we can pull out and get out to everybody. Or at least we can put it online so everybody can download it.
Okay, a couple of questions are coming in.
Go ahead.
First, when chanting mantra repeatedly, are you to chant it multiple times per minute or the regular mantra over a 30-minute timeline? Are you referring to the frequency at which a mantra is chanted, Jason? I'm not sure.
No, I'm not. There's several ways to chant a mantra. There's a physical, in order to, if you want to affect the physical world, then you chant that mantra with your physical voice, and you can chant the mantra in a regulated slow tone, or you can chant the mantra in a dynamic fashion, where you chant the mantra fast without losing the pronunciation of the mantra, and that generates a flow of energy that you could push out of the body and direct it somewhere by a dynamic mantra. Then you can chant the mantra by whispering the mantra so that no one, if they were sitting right beside you, can know that you are chanting anything. They may see your lips moving, but they cannot hear you. And by doing that, you affect the mental world, right? I don't know if you see some of these so-called Wicca people. They whisper their spells. They following the mantric laws, okay? And then you can chant the mantra on a psychic level where you roll the tongue up in the mouth and press the tongue against the root of the mouth and mobilize the tongue so the tongue cannot move at all, so that you can have a pure thought. Because in most cases, when we think we're thinking, we're not having pure thought. We're having, our tongue is vibrating part of the words that we're thinking. So you're not having pure thought. So in order to get to a psychic level, a pure thought level, we immobilize the tongue, and then you chant the mantra, and then you affect the psychic world. So, and then as far as how many times you can chant a mantra within a particular minute or hour, you could test that out yourself. But make sure that you pronounce the mantra properly in chanting the mantra. Okay?
Is dynamic japa repetition used to help concentration? Or?
Yes, it is. It is. You can use it for concentration, and you can use it to project energy. You can use it for healing. You can use it for projection of the body. You can use it for so many different things.
Second, when you raise Kundalini to the crown, you're not going to raise it that high yet. Why would you want to bring it back down to the base chakra?
First of all, it's rare to raise it to the crown, especially in the state of mind that most of us in. But you always have to bring the Kundalini back If you're living on this physical plane, you always have to bring the Kundalini back down to the base of the spine in order to begin to walk around. In fact, the teachings tell us that that you raise Kundalini and then you bring it back down. In other words, you throw your crown off and walk among men in order to teach and help and serve. This is not, we don't do this for just for a selfish reason. We do it in order to help change or spur or move change in a certain way. So you bring the Kundalini back down. When you bring the Kundalini back down, you have seeded the other chakras, and it leaves residue of the knowledge and power that you gain in that state, in that risen state. So now you're changed, and you can call on power that most people can't call on. But also you have to work within the laws of karma. So that's why you bring it back down. Jesus brought it back down. Sri Krishna, if they didn't, we would have never heard of them. Buddha brought it back down. We would have never heard of these great cosmic masters if they didn't bring it back down. They brought it back down in order to complete their mission and help the world. Any other questions?
I think they're typing.
Okay.
I think we're good.
That's it. Let's go ahead and close out then.
When I do the 12 blessings, my right hand feels more energy than my left. Why is that?
Tell him you need to synchronize that. Just keep practicing until it flows properly.
I don't know if you heard Nehemiah's answer where he says you need to synchronize the energy flow between the two palms, and the more you practice, the more it'll synchronize itself. If you want, we can go into more detail next week, if you can come back and ask the question again. The New Lord's Prayer. O divine and wondrous Spirit, O everlasting Lord of hosts, send forth now through me thy great and lasting power. Allow me, Almighty God, the lasting privilege of radiating to all the world thy great love, so that those who suffer may be given the power and energy to rise above their weaknesses. Almighty God, in great humility do I ask you to send forth your power, to give to me this great lasting privilege of being a channel, so that my suffering brothers may be helped and guided and healed and lifted into thy light, so that they who know not may look up and in doing so receive to their higher selves your divine counsel. Almighty God, this day have you granted me a divine privilege. I ask you now to give to me the strength so that never again will I turn from my inner vision of you. Oh, great peace, great peace, great peace. In praise of your greatness, O God, doth my soul sing. Grant it energy to sing on forever and forever. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Oh, and yes, I know I'm behind in releasing the videos. I'll go ahead and release the past couple videos on Monday and get back on schedule. Thanks.